www.sporthotpicks.com. I'm your host, Tommy School. Welcome to Monday, June the 7th, and what a great day it is, although there's not a lot on the docket today. Only 3 MLB games. One of them is a makeup game from the Red Sox Marlins rain out from a few days back, maybe a week or so back. So they're making that game up. There's been a pitching change there, so that definitely has helped us factor in our decision as well within the Miss the Cut segment and that type of stuff. So without any further ado, again, www.sporthotpicks.com. We're your host here that is helping the average recreational, inspiring professional gambler take that next step to become a true pro gambler. Or if you just want to follow our picks, then you can subscribe to that for $9.99 a month to get every single one of our picks, which averages out about 5 cents per pick. Again, we're doing this as a huge service to help everybody out, especially as we get into the new states that are coming in on board. And just to kind of go over states currently. So you have Nevada, New Jersey, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, New York, Iowa, Oregon, Indiana, New Hampshire, Illinois, Michigan, Washington, D.C., Tennessee, and then coming soon enough is going to be Wyoming, Arizona, and Florida that are all going to be coming on board probably by the start of the NFL season. And we want to be able to get you out in front of it and help you become successful at sports wagering. Now, with that being said, let's cover what happened yesterday and everything else. So in the NBA, the Clippers as the favorites covered at 6.5, and the Hawks as a dog won there. So straight up 1-1 against the spread, they were 1-1. Overall, so far to this point, straight up the favorites are 31-14, which is 68.89%, and the favorites against the spread are 29-16, which is 64.44%. Overs have a slight lead at 24-20 with some pushes in there at 54.55%. All three of those numbers in the NBA are above that 52.3%, which it takes to be a profitable break-even sports wagerer. So right now, favorites are doing a great job both on the straight-up side and as the covering. Now, with the NHL, yesterday, the favorites went 2-0 with the Knights and the Canadians both winning, and making it that the home teams are now at 31 wins and the road teams are at 29 wins in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Overall, the favorites are 31-26 with 3 games closing as a pick'em, which puts it at 54.39%, and the unders are still in the lead there at 32-28, even though both of the games yesterday went over 32-28, 53.33%. Now, Major League Baseball, the Dogs came out barking yesterday. The big dogs that won were the Red Sox at plus 140, the Mariners at plus 140, and the Mets at plus 137. But overall, the Dogs won 8-7, and the unders finished at 8-6-1. So, with that being the case, we're now at 480-370 on the favorites at 56.47%, and the unders are still in the lead barely at 426-423 as they regain that lead going back and forth. All right, so a lot of things happening throughout the sports wagering world. We just went over all these states that have mobilized gambling, and you're able to place wagers in those states. Now, a good way that you could potentially build a bankroll without a huge investment is if you're visiting one of these states, is going in and opening an account in that state, getting your wagers in, meeting their minimums, and getting those deposit matches and that type of thing. And especially as these states continue to come in, these books are going to want to be on the front end of that which means you should be really looking at going to one of these states, and maybe you're visiting Vegas and you haven't opened an account in Vegas yet. Great opportunity there to go open an account, spend 3 or 4 days there, meet the minimums, get the balances done, all that sort of stuff. And it's not illegal and it's not against the law at all to do those type of things, to open multiple accounts in different states. So great way to potentially build a book of business there. And with Wyoming and Arizona and Florida coming on board, they're going to continue to get more and more aggressive. And some of these states are limiting which books could actually be functioning within their state, which means they're going to be even more competitive about providing benefits to new users. And you being a new user and visiting that state, or you're within that state, you can capitalize on those. So now let's get into the Miss the Cut segment real quick. We really enjoyed this portion of it because we feel that these are bets that we all came to the table with, and then as we discussed them, they didn't fall into our paid pick section, and by taking them out of the paid pick section, they don't also fall into our free pick of the day section, which means this might just be something that you move on your own, may help you make a decision. Okay, so with that being said, here we go. Phoenix opened up as a -4 favorites. The money has moved the line to 4.5 and even 5 in some instances, which means a lot of people are going on the Phoenix Suns. However, we like the Phoenix Suns at 2, 3, 3.5, but once it started to go to 4, 4.5, 5, we just didn't have the confidence anymore to really put that out as one of our paid picks. However, if you're still a big fan of it, one of the things that you might think about is favorites that are at 5, -5 or less are covering at almost 70% this season in the NBA. So in the NBA playoffs. So Phoenix definitely falls under that -5 number, which means the odds are that they are going to cover, but it's not a guarantee also. One of the things that we liked about it is the Nuggets are one of those teams that after a couple days off, they're much stronger, and the Nuggets have gotten a couple days off, and we just feel that it's a number that we're not looking to put toward our paid picks. All right, also in that game, the line opened as an over-under of 219.5, and there has been no movement whatsoever. We liked the under in this game, basically based off of a simple stat that we've been tracking. Under 220 or less. So if the line comes out at 220 or less, which this is at 219.5, the under is at 67%. So we like that. However, the Nuggets have been getting into shootouts with the Suns this year. They've had 4 games this year that they played against the Suns. 3 of them easily hit that over number, but one of them didn't, and it was toward the end of the season when it didn't, when both teams were still battling for position. So they weren't so open run and gun type of thing, which scared us off of that under. However, if you're looking at that under, another good number to put into play there is 219.5 is less than 220, which they are covering at 67%. The other bet that we liked here today is the Milwaukee Bucks. So without James Harden, this really, really affects the line quite a bit. It is 100% sure that he is not going to be playing today, which means Milwaukee Bucks and their whole lineup being playing, even with some injury to their big star. I can never say his name right, so I'll just, you know who I'm talking about, the big guy in the middle. He'll be playing. So what we like there is we actually like the Bucks, and the Bucks are coming in at, waiting for my computer to update here to see if the line has moved at all with the NBA lately. So let me finish looking at that. But the Milwaukee Bucks, We have them taking the points right now. I think the last I saw was at 2. But it could have changed because there's been a lot of money coming in a lot of different directions and that type of stuff. And then finally, we got 2 in Major Baseball, and as soon as my computer updates, I will get you that line on the NBA. Okay, here it is. Now the Bucks are -1 on one of ours. It's still updating on the other one, so as soon as I get that, I will tell you that I was on FanDuel where the Bucks are -1. We really are leaning toward the Angels, and we're fading the starting pitcher for excuse me. We're fading that starting pitcher. He's a rookie. He came out, had a great second start. Bundy is a very well-established pitcher. Hasn't met his potential yet. And we have good feeling that the Angels are going to get to him, even though the Angels are still without Mike Trout, streaky with Ohtani and the rest of that lineup and everything else. So needless to say, we're leaning a little bit toward the Angels in this game. And the last pick of the day is, I personally feel that this Cubs team is plus money, and you can really get a good number on them right now. So before I go to that, I found another line here on the NBA is the Milwaukee Bucks -1 at a -109, and the Brooklyn Nets +1 on DraftKings, and MGM just is not updating for whatever reason. Needless to say, with what we got going on here, the Cubs coming in against the Padres, we know that the Padres starting pitcher has shown a lot of flashes, and he's looked good on a lot of different ways, and Weathers has done some pretty cool things. However, the money continues to come in on the Cubs from the pros and the general public, which has driven the money line down on the Chicago Cubs from a +110 down to a +106 now, and we still feel that the Cubs is the play here. Padres coming off a pretty tough series, and the Cubs have a day off, or not a day off, but come in hot and playing really well. And Alzole is how they say it, Albert Alzole for the Cubs. Another book has them at +105, and the over-under at a 8, which definitely favors the Cubs, which, in my opinion, they got one of the top bullpens in Major League Baseball. And if this is going to be a bullpen day for the Cubs, and not one of the Padres starting lineup has faced this Alzole guy, which is typically a benefit for the pitcher first time 2 through. And then if they get into the bullpen, the Cubs are going to have a great chance here. So that's what we got for today. www.sporthotpicks.com. And our free pick of the day is coming to you from the NHL. And we really like this one. If you could still find it at 5, we like the Islanders and the Bruins to go over 5. Islanders, Brewers, over 5 is our Sport Hot Picks free pick of the day. I'm Tommy School.